Yes, yes, yes. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to SA Bros. Chris, how you, brother?
Good journey, bruv. Lekker. Ek het nou net 'n lekker braai gehad en dude, ons sit vanaand met soos die cream. Hierdie oues, ek is self 'n vocalist en stuff, maar hierdie dude is die vocalist wat ek die meeste love in al die SA music ou. Hy's my muse. As it come by South African vocalists, is hy my muse, man. Ek love it, dude. Guys, you are in for one of the coolest evenings ever. The amazing Ross Learmonth from Prime Circle in the house.
Yes, so let's bring him up, guys. Welcome, Ross. How you, brother?
Yeah, find yourself, man.
Lekker. There we go. Guys, welcome. So, Ross, tell us, what have you been up to during this lockdown nonsense, huh?
I have been building a shed in the back garden with my dad. He's been doing more of the building. I am the happy again. And then I've made some of my own beer with my dad. We're Scottish. We have to try and do what we can. And just been writing, playing, trying to, and doing all this stuff that you say you're going to do. And then, you haven't ever get to. So that's part of it. Besides,
That's awesome, man. Have you had any of that beer yet?
We have. It's very good. I think there's no more pineapples left in South Africa. We all have the same thing.
Everybody's learning different stuff to make that. It started with pineapple beer. Now it's making ciders and ginger beer derivatives that got some kick. I made one myself. Damn.
Yeah, I think SA Breweries is in trouble. Like, people are getting good at this stuff.
Yeah, so on my side, I haven't resorted to the pineapple route just yet because I obviously had the pub Winston's that I emptied out into my house. But I am running low. I've only got about 20 bottles of whiskey left, and in my books, that's quite that's a very low amount for 1 week because next week Friday they're opening again.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, because Whitey runs at 2 bottles a day. If you go on MPG for your car, Whitey does 2 bottles a day. That's his thing.
That's a standard,
and both of you know how I can drink, eh?
Oh yeah. Well, you know what, Ross? I can already see. You know what? I've done a couple of shows with this guy, and he loves singing your songs on an acoustic guitar. His name's Stian Renuse.
Yeah, man.
He's probably one of your biggest fans, my brother. This guy loves you, and he sings your songs so well. I would love for you guys to meet up one day, but. Yeah, that's just the first couple of guys on, and here we go. Nikki, she's already said Lekker Stian, so our people are getting in now, man.
We go back way back, man. He's amazing. So it's he's a lovely guy. I've known him for many years.
Awesome, man.
That's power. So listen, we've got our crowd here tonight that would just like to get to know you a little bit better and so on. We'll start off with a couple of shitty introduction questions.
Yes.
Then we'll let the crowd audience ask you a couple of questions, and we'll take it from there. So tell the guys, where have you actually been? Where were you born?
I was born in a place called Bells Hill. It's in Scotland. It's close to Glasgow. And then when I was about 3 months old, I was still wet from the womb. I was brought to South Africa, so I count myself as a South African. I'm a South African citizen, so I've been here. And when I go back to Scotland, everyone is like, you're a plastic Scotsman, you're no real, And then I show them how I've trained in the drinking ways of the South Africans, and we show them.
I'm sure you'll still be able to teach those guys a lesson, dude. Once you've been hardened in South Africa. And you've gone to a Mampur Fest in Mariko Valley. Dude, you can dope with the best and the toughest oaks worldwide. Exactly. I promise you. Yeah. I promise you.
Yeah, my dad is a very broad Scotsman, and he's been drinking Mampur. He loves it,
Yeah.
He says this stuff is brilliant now.
I want to tell a quick story about how we can drink, us guys, the Ross and myself. You remember that time you did that show? I think that was at the Botanical Gardens, and we ended up at Matey's afterwards. And you brought a big crowd, and I brought a big crowd. And I remember quite distinctively a few of those people on your side and my side say, no, they can drink us under the table. Now, I won't share the photos I took that I sent to you the other day. I'll just leave them aside. But Chris, it was only Ross and myself standing. Everybody, the staff, everybody went home. The rest passed out wherever they did, and we continued drinking in the pub alone. I don't know how I locked the place up and how the hell we got home, but it was only you and me that stood straight. Well, okay, let's call it straight for argument's sake.
And we were play fighting.
yeah.
I think people thought it was a real fight, so that was good news. Like,
Well, dude,
But they didn't want to get involved. They didn't want to get involved because they're like,
You're
what the
huge,
fuck's going to
Mikey.
happen?
dude, I'm not surprised you got a Scotsman and a dude with a red who looks like a Scotsman.
This is
Although he's
brand
like,
new,
no, you look beautiful. You Scotsman by blood. This guy looks Scotsman. Although he's
Yeah.
6'8", it's
Yeah,
that
yeah,
old
yeah.
freaking Scottish beard. It's he looks more Scottish than any of us.
Yeah,
Any
yeah.
Scotsman I know. That looks like a Scotty there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look at what Stian is saying here. He's saying Middelburg's people can drink, brother.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what.
Can you see-
I just heard a song of Stian. He's been working with Theo Kras. And I'll tell you that there's 2 songs I heard, and it's going to be amazing. You guys are in for some amazing, amazing stuff. So let's. I'm just giving you a shout out there, Stian. I'm excited for these songs.
Yeah, I just
Awesome,
saw
man.
you just now before we went live. Now that you obviously pre-recorded was on lockdown Lickies with a few
Yeah,
South
I mean,
African
They
guys.
let the Soties in. They let
Yes,
the
correct.
Engelsman, a few Engelsman
Yeah.
got in. Jeez.
Yeah,
But it was
yeah,
great. I mean, what a great concept, and it's like a busking thing, and people can give you tips. It's amazing. So it's like busking in the new world. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of music in the future. It's scary about what's going to be going. I don't think there's going to be much stuff for the next 5-6 months. We even thinking about putting Prime Fest on hold. We were talking about getting some international guys out, but I think there's a lot of stuff, like so musicians and the crew and those guys. We're all in the same situation, though. I think
Absolutely, man.
music or not, yeah.
Yeah, I actually read after Ramaphosa's speech yesterday. I saw that the levels where they tell you exactly what each level means. And even when we get to level 1, which is like everything is allowed except public gatherings, that is festivals, it's the nightclubs, it's the pubs and churches and all those things. So even when everything, the dust is settled, we are still going to be, sorry, everybody, I'm going to swear for the first time in a while, but we'll be fucked.
Yeah.
So,
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. Us musicians are all unemployed at the moment. Since 2 weeks before the lockdown, well, everybody's going, oh, life's
We've
so
never
tough.
had a job. What are you talking about? Never had a job.
Yeah, to ask all my ex-girlfriends' fathers. The moment I tell them,
Yeah.
hey, I'm a musician, they're like, oh, so you're unemployed, huh?
True
Straight,
story.
man.
Here's a nice comment from Boss Bling. How's it, Boss Bling? Thank you for always joining us. Ross, I'm a huge Prime Circle fan, and as a live streamer, I've introduced your music a lot of Americans with only positive feedback. I'm proud to be your supporter. Oh, that's brilliant.
Thank you.
Thanks, Boss.
Boss Bling, man. That's amazing. I was
Yeah,
just in
Boss-
Nashville, and I had an amazing time. I loved America, and that's something I wish I'd been more, and I intend to go back a lot. But it was an incredible experience.
So did you learn something about the blues, my brother?
Man, you don't understand. I learned about the blues, but there's a lot of country music. I started to actually enjoy a lot more because you start to see how many different things there are about it, and like just amazing, like seeing so much of that culture there. Nashville and I ended up I got to meet some amazing people. I wrote a song with the guitarist for Keith Urban. And so it was very cool. I said to him, what do you do? He says, well, I'm a guitar player. And I said, well, who do you play for? He says, Keith Urban. I said, I've never heard of him, And he looked at me as if to say, yeah, whatever, mate.
Yeah.
What great people, amazing people. Yeah.
Yeah. And tell me, while you were down there, did you go to the crossroads? Have you sold your soul to make even better music?
Well, I almost sold it buy whiskey because it's so freaking expensive. Being a South African, I think now, especially even with our rand, I mean, we're going to pay a lot for whiskey in America.
Well, dude, at least now we can buy cigarettes, man. I'm so that's the one thing from the 1st of May. That's the one thing I would have killed for was cigarettes. And thank God I never got to that, man. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's take another question here quickly. Where was it now? I missed it. Here we go from Dolene Bekers. Hi, Ross. Please tell me what is your ultimate favorite Prime Circle song? That's a good one.
Wow. That's a good question. It's always changing every time we do a new album. You have your new batch of songs, and then you like and people will go, "Oh, I love your old stuff," and then you get offended, but it's still a
Yeah.
compliment. You know, it's almost
Yeah.
like so. I think my favorite is a song called "Love to Hate." Breathing is still a big one. You know that I love. Breathing is just such a lovely song. Yeah, it's tricky to talk about your kids like that. There's a few songs that I dislike quite a bit as well. It's weird. Like when you write them, you're in a different space, and then I don't even know if I'm the same person. You know,
Yeah.
when I wrote them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Yeah. So Ross, let's get on with some more questions, and I think we've started off nicely now. Now, what is your Chris? What is that question that you asked the other day? What is your desire? Not desire. What's it?
Huh?
Yeah, sorry, I lost.
What are you talking about?
My
Have you been-
computer just froze.
Is it? Well, have you been smoking Mazul, but because you don't remember nuts anymore? Dude,
Yeah,
you know what?
remember?
What
There's
is your
so many
desire,
questions.
Chris?
Oh, God. I need to get to the
What is
crossroads.
your secret desire?
Oh, it's Sorrow. It's this Reddit thing. Like I said, I'm going to send you a copy of Sorrow, dude. Once you see
Okay,
it,
cool.
it's over. Your Scottish blood will bleed for this chick. I'm not
All
lying
right,
to
there
you.
we go.
Oh, my God. I actually think we need to show you Sorrow soon, but we will.
Okay.
But I think the question Wati wanted me to ask, dude, is there's so many I want to ask you since we like know each other, but when did you guys start out as Prime Circle, or were you with other bands before that? What's your history with Prime Circle?
Yes.
I was going to leave South Africa. I was going to move to London. My sister got me some kind of thing I was going to do. So I was going to leave, and then I sang. A friend of ours passed away, and we did a tribute to him at a nightclub. And it was Marco, the bass player's nightclub. So we did a tribute, and he was he was a metal guy, and he was probably you couldn't see his fingers when he played. He was amazing.
Wow.
And we did a tribute show, and Aggro, one of South Africa's best metal bands, was there. I mean, it was like we were like in royalty. We were like, wow. And I was in a band called I can't even remember what it was, Fuse or something like that. You know, like plain speaking or something. And we played, but my guitarist at the time, he was amazing, but he could play really well, but he was always in the wrong key. You know, he thought the song was in A and we were in G. And I was just screaming at the mic as much as I could. And the guy said to me, Marco said to me, I like your voice. Come and audition. And I auditioned for the band. And they lost their singer and guitarist. And then I joined and took the place. And then we just stayed in a garage for a year. I was in a couple of like high school bands before, but nothing crazy. Yeah.
Well, dude, that's cool to hear that. I just can't picture Marco as like a club owner in Witbank. You know,
he was hardcore. When I got the gig, I became like a gay. I was almost like getting the keys to Witbank. Like I became like it was like people thought I owned the club. I thought I owned the club by the way I acted. You know? The bouncers used to. A guy hit me once. He hit me so hard I flew over a table, and I was like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And then I was laughing at my girlfriend. She was like dancing funny on the, you know. And then this guy hit me. I know. And then I went outside, and all the bouncers had the guy holding him, and they said, "I said, why'd you hit me, man?" He says, "You're laughing at that girl." I said, "That's my girlfriend." So Witbank, it had its days.
Dude, I think growing up in Witbank, you've met some of the toughest burkies on this planet. So it's got to be like that, because they're their own blood group. Those oaks, especially the hardcore Dutchy Witbank oaks.
Yeah, some of the best guys you'll ever meet as well. You know, like,
absolutely, man.
Yeah, you just have to get in a few fights and then you're best mates.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
You know what I think is the coolest thing now? It's like after so many years, all you got to do now is just say a guy's name and say, you know, that guy took a swing at me or something. And I think your fans will like dry oak out. They'll like murder him.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've still never won a fight in my life. I'm too soft. I don't like.
No.
You know, you mentioning that, Ross. I don't know if you heard a couple of years ago. I actually did a couple of pranks with Blackhead Simpson on the radio, and the one day I pranked Vin Diesel, and then Darren brought me onto the air, and we spoke about it, and then Darren said, "You tried to prank Vin."
It didn't work.
And then, yeah, because what Vince said is, you said, no, dude, I can't do that to poor Vince. Shame. Now, that just proves to me what you just said. You're too soft for a fight. If you can't even do a prank, how are you going to get involved in a fight?
Yeah,
that
no,
was a story.
and it
No,
just
that was
backfired anyway. He just went, "Oh, if that's how you feel, then I'm sorry." And I was like, "Oh shit." I feel
You know,
bad
let
now.
me. I know we're interviewing you, but I just want to tell you. So I actually did get him quite badly, and I think I was seconds away from getting him to tears. And then I realized it, and I said, "Listen, no, hang on, I'm making a joke." And yeah, and he actually Darren played it on air, and you could hear in his voice. He started swearing. He's like, "Fuck, sorry." He felt so bad, and it went from anger to disappointment to, oh goodness, I'm going to lose my job type thing with me, because I was obviously booking him quite a lot for shows and stuff. So I think that's why it worked so well, because he knew that's bread and butter. But yeah, in the end, I got him away from the tears. But here's a cool question from Tanai Lowry. Do you remember at the Botanical Gardens there was a guy who took his shirt off to help a kid with a bleeding nose? Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I remember that. I do remember that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's I hope, is that your husband, Twane? Or I hope it wasn't you, Twane.
I doubt it, dude. I know this chick's
I remember
hubby,
that
and
more. I think I remember that more.
I know this chick's hubby. He like Whitey runs on 2 bottles a day. This hug runs on 2 beers a kilometer. I've gone hiking with him. He's one of the figures I know will carry a backpack. But dude, despite that, you guys have been performing internationally now. Do you think that your style of music and stuff is more aimed at an international market, or do you still try and just keep some African roots in some of this stuff? Because I know you're homebred, man. You South African, baby.
I think the Prime Circle is always geared to be a band of the world. We've always wanted to play everywhere in the world. We've toured South Africa a lot. We have a very sort of we do a sort of certain route every year. We love it. And I'll always do it. I mean, when you come over that hill and you just suddenly see wilderness, and it's just that I always want to do that. But we've always wanted to be able to play around the world, and we've been blessed to be able to tour with like some of the big guys, like even like Cedar. We toured with Cedar and Three Doors Down and Alter Bridge in Germany, and that was probably one of my like most amazing tours. And I spoke to them as well, and just like how they geared themselves to be a band of the world. I think South Africa has got a lot of talent that needs to be seen a lot more in the world. Yeah,
100%. I once went to the Netherlands in Amsterdam, and I heard Goldfish was playing, and I said, no, to hell with it. I need to go, because I've seen them in South Africa a lot at your Joburg days and whatnots,
but never at the
South Africa Festival. But we went to this thing in the Netherlands, and we saw them, and I think there was about 15,000 people there. Wow. And the love these people had for Goldfish, they went absolutely ballistic. And I stood there and I felt so proud being a South African, saying, these are our boys that you Europeans are going nuts for. And I know it must be the same when you guys travel to Germany and all those places where I know Germany loves you guys. I know you guys travel there quite often because they can't stop having enough of you. And I think for expats, South Africa, standing in a foreign country, seeing a South African band and foreigners going so nuts for them, it must be the best feeling for them. Like I said, it was for me one of the best feelings ever, watching them there live.
Yeah, I saw them in Berlin. I saw them in Berlin as well. It's amazing when you see people from another sort of culture, another country, and they're singing back to you. I mean, it is probably the biggest gift that you could ever get. I think it's more than anything. I think that is the epitome of what a musician is. When someone says, that is my song, I'll use that in my life. It's helped me through a time, and I'll sing it back to you.
Well, dude, I'm sure. I know there's not a lot of guys who would ask you this question, but can you explain your bond with each member of the band? Like I know with Dale and then with Marco. Please give us an in-depth your take on each guy in the band. How did you guys meet, or like what makes you tick of that out? Because obviously to be in a band you got to be like almost family. It's stronger than family. I've got to say that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's
who's your favorite dude in the band though?
I think my favorite dude in the band is Mariska. Like she's sort of she's our agent, and like she sort of does. She's the jack of all trades. She does merchandising. She does, and she's like the most hardcore dude. I've ever met. she,
100%.
she's definitely the lifeblood, I think, in a lot of stuff. Like she'll pick the band up a lot of times when you sort of lose focus because we're a bunch of guys and we're too hard sometimes to admit things or to face things. So I think Dale is sort of the energy in the band. We brought him on as he brought in this new energy and this new life. So Dale is definitely the adrenaline in the band. And he's the studio guy. He's the guy who's always in the studio. His life is about studio and recording and stuff. And I think Dale, like physically, he's an emotional wreck about music. He loves it so much that like it brings him to tears, which I love. I mean, we've had many a night, like literally like freaking almost crying, talking about music. Marco is the business and the glue. He brings everyone together in that sense. Like he's the guy that wouldn't take no for an answer. Like he would get in the car and we'd go to different labels and they would say, "You're terrible." And I think, like, I don't know, it's maybe a bad thing to say, but I think sometimes South African musicians, we play ourselves down too much. And I think we always putting other people up on a pedestal. And I think that we need to be more inspired by ourselves and more like, you know what I mean? Just more out there going, yeah, you can do it. So I think Marco saw it that way and he never took no for an answer. And he's the guy that sort of, he'll fly to Germany and try and structure more deals. Dirk is the most consistent dude I've ever met. Dirk is always in the same mood. I don't think I've ever seen him angry. I tried to punch Dirk once in a playful way, and I hit him pretty hard in his shoulder, and I hurt my hand, and it didn't even move. So I wouldn't mess with Dirk. He's like the very much streamlined guy. And then Neil is sort of like the cool character. He's like he's the surfer guy, but at the same time, he's one of the most studied musicians I've ever met, and one of the best musicians I've ever met in my life. That man is truly a musical genius, and I think that he's breaking out to new things as well. He's doing like Cantrell and these kind of things, and I think that the band is going to start experimenting. We're going to be doing stuff like that. So and all the good to it, because it just will strengthen the band hopefully in the end.
I absolutely agree, bro. And you know what? I think we've been listening to Prime Circle for years, and obviously each guy brings in a different flavor and a bit of his own self. And you know what? I'm sure the whole South Africa can't wait to, or the whole world can't wait to hear a bit of different stuff from you guys. We love your sound. Look, you guys are like freaking staple food. Your music's staple food for South Africans.
Thank you.
I can go to the biggest Dutchy freaking braai in the middle of the Northern Cape or something, and you will get a Prime Circle track while you're having a brother with the guys.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
Absolutely, man. But yeah, check. This is new, man. We've got the Prime Circle fans Germany on Facebook that have just posted it. This is official. Yeah, check us out, man. Hello from Germany.
Oh,
that's brilliant.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's cool that we can cross borders like that, and people will make a fan page. I mean, that's amazing. So.
Yeah, that's really cool. So welcome, Prime Circle fans from Germany. Thank you for joining us, Chris, myself, and Ross. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. That's brilliant.
Yeah, man. We miss you guys.
There's another question I saw now that I had to go back to look for. Andries Maton is asking, Ross, do you still remember playing Oppie Koppie in the early 2000s? Wow, that's a while back.
Yeah, I mean, we started in 2001. So, I mean, we did Woodstock 2003. So 2004, probably Oppie Koppie, one of the best festivals that ever in the planet, I think. And I remember playing it, and I've never been a fashionista, but I saw photos the other day, and I just like, dude, like you could have put some better freaking clothes on. I always looked like I was like a scruffy asshole. So, but I loved Oppie Koppie, and the band used to always leave. They'd want to leave after the show. Yeah. And I'd say, and I'd never organize anything. I'd say, well, I'm going to stay, and then I'd end up sleeping on like some like dirt somewhere, or like under a tree, or in a random tent. So like it was always amazing, like shoot from the hip kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I think as a guy that's formerly like jammed with you guys, you the Chris in whatever band you're gonna play in, because I'm always the guy that stays behind at parties with the like normal people, where they go like, oh my god, and you still party with them, and that's how I will remember you. We did a show somewhere in fucking what in Bobsfontein or something. We at some dive, and you were like the party animal. You stayed there with us because your gigs were done for the weekend. And we had such a party. And after that, I was like, okay, Ross is now my favorite freaking dude out of all the bands. Absolutely,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, enjoy the life a bit too much sometimes, but it's a good life. And, you gotta enjoy it.
Dude, I think
Yeah,
South
now-
Africans, that's what sets the great bands apart from like the other bands is guys like you that are willing to like spend that time with the fans and with the normal people, and so they can just check. Listen, Ross is actually just a normal, awesome dude that
Yes.
likes to party with the
Yeah.
boys and like do some of the naughty shit that all of us do. So that was
Yeah.
freaking awesome, man. For that, I will always love you. You like showed
Thank
me
you,
a
man.
listen as a cream of the crop South African rock star dude that everybody looks up to. You would like that guy. And we'd like, okay, he's a brother. He's like
Yeah.
one of us, man. He's so
You gotta
good.
wear a different. You gotta wear a different cape if you can. You know,
Absolutely,
a different
man.
jacket. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned there, Ross, that sometimes you went a bit too hard. How sad is it in these times now that you actually go and think, shit, I actually miss those times now because you're sitting at home doing nothing, making pineapple beer. What?
Yeah.
It's actually
I
sad that
think
we have to start thinking about it like that.
It's weird how it gets taken away, and now the thing you miss the most, I think you can take things for granted as well, and I think a lot of people are going to see that. Just playing shows and stuff like that is something that you eventually you can take for granted. So I think it's been amazing to have the time to reflect and to write and to just sort of take a breath again, because we've been touring for 19 years, and it's been a constant thing. So I actually have enjoyed the time, but I'm missing playing and missing that energy selfishly that people give. You know.
Absolutely. That's a drug, man, on its own.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I
There's
see
another-
Lawrence van der Heever. Is that the one you're looking at, Whitey?
No. But Goy Lawrence, where is he? That's Toos. He's one of our regular guys.
Toos. Yes, that's the weirdest freaking name. Anyway, he says, hi, Ross. What was Prime Circle's biggest event ever? And if you can tell me, what is the meaning for you about she always gets what she wants? Thanks, Lawrence.
Oh, wow. Biggest shows, I think it's hard to say. I think just being a part of the 46664 was massive. Being an ambassador for that and is changed my life. I mean, when Madiba passed away, I got a phone call and I had to go to Mandela House, and just to be a part of that whole thing, just to be there, it was a true honor. You know what I mean? So I think the 46664 series was amazing. But I think also the Three Doors Down Alter Bridge tour in Europe was massive for the band. We loved that. And then also being on tour with Cedar, just some local boys, and seeing them dominate overseas was amazing. So it's hard to say. Live changed our lives. When we played the live show in 2003, I think, on the Birds of Prey tour, literally the next day, our lives had changed. Like we were things were happening.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I don't know what Whitey's doing here. Whitey, I check a lot of stuff coming up here. It's like Brevard from Mark. He says, Ross, your album, if you don't, you never will, is absolutely brilliant. Because I know you can't check this unless the big red beard puts the stuff on. And then he also asked the question, like, what is one song you wish you wrote from any other band? What's your one song that you were like, I wish I wrote that?
Man, there's a song called River, I think, from Leon Bridges. I wish I'd written. I'll actually play that for you guys a bit later.
Okay.
But I think any Biffy Clyro song ever. I'm a massive Biffy Clyro fan. So any Biffy Clyro kind of song, definitely. Yeah.
And tell me, dude, with the whole bunch of these new bands coming out, especially now in lockdown, I've had time to like listen to a whole bunch of new bands. There's one American band, Nothing More. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. Their music just like Nothing More. The band's called Nothing More. Dude, it'll blow your mind. Anyway, is there any other American bands or any other new bands that you've listened to where you've been like, okay, I've also found like some new stuff that you've done in lockdown where you go like, oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah. I think just in lockdown, I've just been listening to my classics, my comfort food kind of thing. You know?
Yeah.
Like when we've been fortunate enough to there's some bands like Make Plane from Switzerland. They toured with us. Say God as well, and you start to see bands from all around the world that are like they on a similar level to you and trying to make it as well. And then you start to see how amazing that level is, that you never know who the next big thing could be. So we've been blessed to see a lot of good stuff like that. Like there's some amazing bands. Like there's one in Germany called I Butter My Bread with Butter, and they're badass. But like they said, like so it's always a thing. I'm always looking for new music, definitely.
Well, are you more drawn to heavier stuff or more of the lighter stuff personally?
Depends on the day, but I mean, I grew up a heavy fan. I love metal music, but I like Sepultura, the Roots album, and I like
yes,
like I love the Burning Red, Machine Head. That's sort of when I was in high school. Those bands were prevalent. But I mean, the Pixies is still probably my Beatles. The Pixies is my band.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, with one of our sorry, Chris. This guy's been begging me to ask this question. Cool, it's one of our regular listeners. It's from Chris Swanepoel and Rika's Rus. He's asking, when traveling, what are the few things you can't go without?
Headphones is pretty much it. I think if you've got headphones, you can dodge that like random person sitting in the plane next to you if they like it a bit much. But also you need your music in life, and I think it's amazing. People should try it as well. As like when you're in certain places, try and listen. Like if you listen to Nine Inch Nails, for example, in the suburbs of Johannesburg, it's beautiful and it's great. But then you go and listen to that in America, in a city like New York, and then you play those same songs, and the character of the song has changed, and the meaning and the you sort of understand it more in a different way. So listening to music on the road is amazing. It's like that's the only like real thing,
man. Well, I check here. Your Prime Circle fans from Germany is like, what's about a cooperation with the Foo Fighters? That's something I would love to hear. Is Ross with freaking Dave Grohl, man. Wow.
I think every musician in the planet would do anything to, there'd be serious murders to get to play with Dave Grohl and the boys. But
hell yeah.
Anytime. If Dave, when the Foo Fighters were in South Africa, I went to all the shows, and literally just to be able to actually physically cry with your mates watching a band like that. This is incredible.
That's power. That's proper power. Now, Ross, before we go on with any questions, you promised us something, a little number that you are going to play for us.
Yeah, I'll try a little version. I hope I don't mess the guy's song up too much. I'm a big fan of Leon Bridges. If anyone doesn't know Leon Bridges, then please go and listen. But
we will.
This song called River. Been traveling these wide roads for so long. Well, my heart's been far from you, 10,000 miles gone. And I wanna come here and give you every part of me. But there's blood in my hands, and my lips are unclean. In my darkness I remember all mama's words return to me. Surrender to the good Lord, and you wipe your sleep clean. Well, take me to your river, I wanna go. Oh, take me to your river, and I wanna know. Dip me in your smooth waters, I go in. As a man with many crimes, come up for air. As my sins flow down my Jordan, and I wanna come here and give you every part of me. But there's blood in my hands, and my lips are unclean. Well, take me to your river, and I wanna go. Go on, take me to your river, and I wanna know. Yeah.
That was
Dude.
brilliant, Ross. Awesomeness. Yo, well
If
done,
I-
brother.
Yeah, if I had any panties on now, I would have thrown them to the screen for you, bro.
Yeah.
Thank
Shit.
you.
Yeah,
Man.
we've got somebody from Illinois all the way in the USA. She doesn't want to be named, but she's saying, so that's why men don't listen to their women on a road trip. Ha ha ha. Do whatever. Do they ever listen? So how cool is that? We've got from the USA and Germany now.
Amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
amazing.
so,
Amazing.
yeah, thank you, unknown or anonymous, rather. Welcome to the show. Yeah, guys, so that was absolutely brilliant sound from Ross. Guys, throw in your question, keep asking your questions. And we've got another fellow Scotsman, Mr. Michael McLeod. Hey, Ross, if you like the Burning Red by Machine Head, you should listen to their song Darkness Within.
I will, definitely. Thank you. Yeah. I love that.
There you go. Thanks, Michael. What else is here? What else is here? Yes, we've got from Gerard Oosthuizen. Hi, Ross. We're here from Cape Town. Great show. Thanks. Awesome. Like it. And here's this is a good question. Ross, when is your solo album coming out? From Greg Stafford.
I've been writing the thing for the last sort of 5, 6 months, 7 months.
Yeah.
I have a lot of songs, but I'm just trying to get the best thing, and I'm trying to make it sound not like the band. I don't want to be disrespectful to the band.
Yeah.
I love Prime Circle, and I'm not going to leave Prime. So I just don't want to bring something out that is too similar, and I want to bring something out that's meaningful to me and that is different, you know. So and to try and do something else. And there's a couple of songs that I wanted to do, and I was hoping to bring the album this year, but because of this epidemic, I think I'm gonna push. I have to push it because I've been writing with a lot of different people as well, which has been I've never done that before. So I've been writing in Nashville, I've been writing in London, and I've been writing with some amazing people and teaching me stuff. So just seeing a different side of things, you know. So hopefully early next year. Yeah.
Here's I think a question a lot of people want to know, like with whenever we listen to Prime Circle, like Ross's voice is the voice of Prime Circle. And I think that if you've got to do a solo album, I don't know. It's like that Bon Jovi trap. You know what I mean? It's like doesn't matter which band he sings with. It's always gonna be Bon Jovi. And but I think if you've got a different kind of sound, like you said, you don't want to go with the normal Prime Circle sound. I'm saying normal. It's nothing but normal. It's actually exquisite. But you know what? Like your voice, you've got one of the most distinctive voices in South African music, dude. Do you think you'll ever be able to I don't know, when you bring out a solo album, are people going to see it as a Prime Circle side project, or are they going to see it as like a Ross album, you know?
I think they'll probably see it as an extension of the band. I think it's going to be very hard to break away from it. But I think that the trick is to try and explore different kind of styles. So like I'm doing a crooner show. It was supposed to be now in June, where I'm going to be singing some Sinatra and some Nat King Cole and those kind of things. And singing that kind of style was incredible for me. We did it with like a 30-piece band and just a brass section, and it's just incredible to do something that different and like goosebumps. And I'm doing that with Loyiso, Arno, Art Matthews, and myself. So wow.
Whose was that? Is that you, Whitey?
No, it's not me. I'm fine. But that was great.
Something approved. But in the long run, it's to try and just to see if you can do some different things as well. And I've been learning the piano. Like I can play it very badly, but I've been learning to play it a little bit less badly, and hopefully that'll feature more. And I think that might contribute to a different kind of thing. But it will be. But Prime Circles also, we're working on a new single at the moment. We're having a German producer working on it, and let's see what happens. Yeah.
Well, dude, like you say, you've just started you're working with Louisa and the guys and doing jazz stuff. I would love to hear your voice, like do a couple of jazz artists. But what's your favorite like jazz singer out of the bunch that you guys have been covering?
Nat King Cole, I think. Yeah, I mean, just Nat King Cole. And I sing. I've got a song. I do Unforgettable, and just being able to be a part of that song with that band, I was just like, wow, man, this is too good. When I saw the song on the list, I made sure no one else got that one. I thought, that's my song.
Dude, don't you wish you could tour with such a big brass band?
I wish there was more big bands around. I've always loved. I saw Jamiroquai once, and they were a big band, Jamiroquai. And I think seeing like Freshly Ground and those bands, when like it's just nice to see. And I'd love to see like bands that were like 20-piece, 30-piece. I'd love to do that. I maybe with the solo stuff, I can get in. I've always wanted to have some doo-wop singers and just like really have a show that wasn't just centered around just me. It would be nice to be able to cycle it around.
Yeah.
That's
Well, dude, you know what? I think we've got about like 25 minutes left. But one thing
I'm gonna drink a shot.
Look at this guy.
There we go.
Jägermeister.
Dude, I've finished mine and I'm going to join Ross because he's terug back there. I'm sure he's doped up all his beer and stuff. I wish I could, like, I don't know, give a dope to you through the screen or maybe a spliff or something since that shit's legal now. That shit cheer you up.
We live in a country where cigarettes and alcohol were illegal and marijuana was legal. How the things have flipped.
Oh my God. Dude. Well, for the last like 25 minutes, you know what? I think we'll break away from the music side of stuff. This is the side we want to like have fun and to like find out more stuff about you. Who was your first love, man?
My first love, like you get that high school sweetheart thing, and then ridiculous, like such a terrible thing, because you have to go through all those first heartbreaks, and it's a horrible feeling. So any of those kids out there going through that heartbreak, it's like it will get better, but they still suck.
Well, so who was it, man? Who was the first chick that like stole Ross's heart?
I'm not going to give her the credit. She's not going to get named. I'm not giving her the credit.
Okay, that's cool. But there definitely was one, man.
You know who it was? It was my English teacher, Ma'am Nell. Like I loved her. She never gave me the time of day.
You know what's funny is like almost every muser we've asked that question about question to, they're all like, no, it was this teacher, or it was this teacher.
Yeah, definitely. Ma'am Nell, definitely. Wow. She had red hair, bob red hair. She was gorgeous.
So he's into redheads,
Sorry, Chris, but I found that question I wanted to ask. Yeah, leave the redheads alone. But the question was, what are your guilty pleasures? That's what I wanted to ask. The questions are back.
My guilty pleasures is definitely, I'm a pub guy. I like going to the pub, and I love PlayStation. So I'm always every chance I can get a little spared little time, I like to play. So that's sort of it, and I like soccer golf. Like I play golf, like I'm shit at it, but soccer golf is my thing. I don't know if anyone's ever played soccer golf. If you haven't, I challenge you to do it. It's amazing.
Dude, I'm fortunate enough. My little daughter goes to a gymnastics class where there's soccer golf. Now, I've never done that. And Dell was supposed to hook up with me there.
It's Roosevelt Park.
Yeah. So next time, I think if you got some spare time, we'll hook up and we'll go kick some balls. Because with the golf club, I'm pretty awesome. But I don't know about balls, man.
Yeah, soccer balls is great. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Yes. Here's a good question from Boss Bling. If you could spend a day with anyone, only one person in the world, who would it be? Who would you choose, rather?
It's a tricky question.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite people is Desmond Tutu. I've seen him speak before, and I just love his character. But I think he might not like me very much. Just I'm like, hey, should we have another beer? I think, but. Maybe Dave Grohl. I think I'd love to spend a day with Dave Grohl. But you know what? Actually, no. Hands down, it would be Mick Jagger.
Oh, that's a good one.
Spend a day with Mick Jagger. That would be great.
Well, the cool thing is you still can.
Yeah. One day, hopefully. I know Theo Kraus got to spend some time with both of those men. He got to spend time with Dave Grohl and Chris Cornell, and he got to spend time with Mick Jagger, and he said Mick Jagger was just amazing. It's like being crazy.
You know, I would love to hang out with, because he's got this this thing about him, is Brian Johnson from AC/DC. When you see him normally, it looks like this little guy that will go out. Do you remember Mick Joyce from the band Hat Trick? He was a comedy band, and Englishman.
South African comedy band, yeah.
Okay. Yes, and now he's an Englishman. They were born and he's roughly the same age as Brian Johnson, born the same area in Liverpool, wherever. And he looks like this person that will go to a pub, with his newspaper, his little Scottish or whatever pecky you call it, and just sit there and have a beer and talk shit to you for hours and hours, and you can hang on his lips and just listen to whatever he has to say. That's the type of person he looks like. He's the powerhouse of ACDC, but then he'll just go to the pub and have a pint, as he would always say. Looks like such a cool person to hang
I'm
with.
glad he's back in the band. I mean, that's what I heard. He's back, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my man,
the actual thing. I'm sorry.
I think ACDC for every musician out there, especially vocalists and guitarists, ACDC is like a staple food, man. The same as Prime Circle is for South African music fans. I think internationally, ACDC is like something you have to have in your blood, otherwise you'll never love rock and roll.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Now, and the Prime Circle fans in Germany, which place do you want to visit as soon as it's possible again? Now, I suspect they're going to say they want you to say Germany or Berlin or somewhere in Germany. Am I right?
Well, I mean, if I have to say it, to be honest, there's a place called Cologne in Germany, and Cologne, it's one of my favorite beers is there, and it's a place that the last few times we've toured, we haven't been, and it's been some of my favorite shows. I think my first sort of crush was a bar lady in Cologne. And I said, and then it was my first tour, and I said, "What time do you finish?" She says, "At 4 in the morning." And I was like, it was about 10 at night, and I was already, one eye was open. And, there was no way I was gonna make it. But I think Cologne, or I definitely want to go back to. I'd love to go back to Nashville.
But dude, isn't Cologne like an island, like their own little place?
No, it's just Cologne is it's amazing. It's a very beautiful place, very, very beautiful. It's got the Cologne Dome and just a beautiful city.
Okay, well, the Germans are saying no, Ross. We meant for vacation.
Vacation. For vacation, then definitely maybe I don't know. I've never been to Vietnam. I've always wanted to go.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, here's a question from another Scottish lady, Liz. Do you own a kilt, and do you know how to dress it? How to dress it properly? Dress in it properly.
I used to have a kilt, but it was offensive because my willy would hang out the bottom.
Now we know how you get those deep bass notes, bro. It's all the resonance, huh?
Now, we used to have a kilt. My dad gave it away. He's too generous, and we had this kilt. We've got a family tartan, and he gave the kilt away. But yeah, I've got my legs are too skinny for a kilt, but I do enjoy it. A friend of mine just got married, and he had a wedding, a Scottish wedding. Yeah, and there was a lot of handstands at the wedding. His wife saw a lot of cock and balls.
So it was a full moon wedding, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, and our colors are green and yellow. There's green and yellow in our kilt.
Okay, that's
there you
awesome,
go. There you go. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So let's get to our next question quickly. We did the guilty pleasures. What is your biggest regret in life?
Oh.
I think one of my biggest regrets, Jesus, this turned dark.
That's a hard one. Yeah, it just turned dark.
I think
people want to know you.
Yeah, I don't really have that many regrets. I think I wish I was a bit healthier, but that's something you can always change. I regret not being that healthy in my life, but and I regret not spending some time with a few people that unfortunately, you don't get the time that you always want. So I regret not having made more time with certain people.
Yeah, I think that's a big. I think that's probably one of the biggest regrets we have. We all have is not spending that time. We always say, "Yeah, I'll get you," and then oops, bangs, that person's gone. And then but let's not go too sad in our conversation. Anyway, so here's another good question. Where do you find inspiration?
Inspiration. This is my mom has just brought me a nice whiskey, so she's a legend. Thank you.
There we go. So hang on. Slicky.
She's run away. Yeah.
Slicky, dude, you gotta Slicky Mosakadas away.
I've got another Jägermeister. There we go.
And we're running out of whiskey, so that's like a commodity now. That's amazing.
Well, dude, I think your mother is inspirational. Any woman that brings you whiskey in this time is like an angel.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's brilliant. Here's another question from Chris. If you could have some other profession, what would it be?
Well, we've been thinking about this now. A lot of musicians and a lot of crew, we've been having the conversation of like,
Yeah.
What would you do with your time now? Because we can't perform for 6 months and potentially and maybe longer in South Africa. We don't know. We don't know the future anymore. So something I always thought about maybe is like teaching. Maybe become an English teacher, because you can do it anywhere. You can do it online, and then I could still try and play as well. But if I wasn't a musician, I'd probably be, I would say construction, but my dad fired me, so I wouldn't do that. So I'll find out. Yeah.
Well, like you said, you guys are building a lot of stuff. Do you think that this time now has actually strengthened your bond with your dad?
Yeah, I think with my folks being here, we decided to do this quarantine together. So it's great that we can do it together. And I think so I thought we'd get along worse. I thought we'd be biting each other, but we get along very well, thank God. But I think when we run out of alcohol, we're going to turn on each other and kill each other. So
that's the Scottish way, bro.
Yeah. And we criticize. We're very critical, but in a good way. We just try and constantly give positive criticism, put it that way.
Well, dude, I see a piece of art right behind you. Is that something one of you guys did, or is it another piece that you bought?
No, this is called drunken sketching and drunken painting, which I do. And another positive criticism my dad says to me last night. He says, "Good thing you can sing, boy, because your art is fucking terrible." So, it's something that I enjoy. Something that I enjoy doing. I just man, it's like one thing. I've got a lot of paintings outside, and I just I throw things down when I've had when I've had enough of music and I just want to try and do something else. But it's a constant passion, and I'll keep trying.
Well, dude, keep it alive. Just from what I can see behind your head, that's an awesome picture, man. And I'm sure that, you know what, if everything else fails, draw pictures and sell that stuff, dude. Obviously, you've got an eye and a hand for this, and I'm sure your art will sell like.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Let's hope for the best. Let's hope I can get it right.
Do it now. Do it now.
Yeah.
Get that stuff sold out, man.
Chris is asking Highlands or Lowlands in Scotland.
So I'm from the Lowlands. I'm from the Lowlands of Scotland. Love the Highlands driving through, but I'm from the Lowlands.
Okay, brilliant. Listen, Ross, I see we about to be, our time is busy running out. So what we do normally at this segment of the shows, we let you plug whatever is coming up. I know you've plugged your thing with Arnu and Loiso and I forgot to, but what else is coming? What are you doing? When can the people expect a live show on Facebook or wherever else? Or just what is the plans for you and Prime Circle going ahead after the lockdown? Stage is yours.
Hell yeah.
I'm playing a festival tomorrow night. It's a Swiss festival with some friends from America and Ireland and from Switzerland. And we're going to be streaming the show so people can check in on my Facebook and on Instagram. We'll be talking about it. So that's going to be at about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock tomorrow night. I am working on a solo record, but Prime Circle is also working on a single to be brought out across the universe very soon. We're going to be doing that. And we will be doing a live streaming show as well. We've had to move it because of we can't be in each other's company right now, but we are working on doing one very, very soon. And besides that, just keeping happy and healthy as much as we can. I might be teaching English soon, if anyone needs English.
In Thailand.
Yes. Yeah. Any Taiwanese people watching or Chinese people watching, I will teach you English.
Yeah.
There you go. Scottish English.
Aye.
And that's a lot of swearing.
Aye.
Well, dude, we're looking forward to any music from Ross, from Prime Circle, and any of your endeavors. My brother, I've got to be honest, I've loved your voice since the first time I've ever heard it. Prime Circle, I'm myself, I'm a musician, but Prime Circle is my favorite South African band. I rate them way above a lot of other international bands. And please keep doing what you guys are doing. I think you're blessing the world with so much goodness, not just in your own stuff, in everything you guys pursue. I see your guys' faces in like international stuff and national stuff when it's time to like pull together. It's always good to see your face. And thank you for just being you and for being one of the coolest guys on earth, man. I freaking love you. And
Thank you,
keep
guys.
bringing up the good stuff. And may God bless Prime Circle for the rest of our lives, bro.
Thank
We
you,
need to
guys.
catch
Big love to you guys all, and be safe. Cheers.
One
Thank you.
time, my brother. Thank you very much, man.
Cheers, man. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers. All right, guys. So yeah, there we have it. That was Ross from Prime Circle. Chris, what a legend. Huh? This
Bro,
man is such a rock star. He's such a proper rock star, and yet he comes on. He tells us he's staying with his mom and dad during lockdown. And fuck,
yeah.
oh, sorry. Here we go again. He's one of the best in the world, not just the country, but
Dude,
in the world.
This is what sets them apart from me from other bands is they one of the most approachable guys on earth. Each one of them are like, once you get to know the guys, they are the loveliest dudes on earth. Ross especially, he was when I was just starting out with like real big bands and stuff. I was fortunate enough to also tour with Sarin Gas before they turned into Seether. And like he's got the same saying, you know, the guys are awesome. Whatever you think these guys are like, because they've got this public image and stuff, it's never like that. These guys are. Ross especially is one of the coolest dudes I've ever met. A beautiful human being. Actually, the whole Prime Circle, man. What a bunch of lovely acts.
Yeah,
and
you know, Marco and I, we give each other so much shit over WhatsApp about the rugby when it was still on, because he's a big Stormer supporter. So every time
sorry,
sorry.
Yeah,
I know, it's sad. Every time the Lions would beat the Stormers, I'd be on the WhatsApp and say, "What's up, dude?" He's like, "Yeah, whatever. I'm not watching," or some shit like that. And the once or twice that by chance the Stormers would beat the Lions, he'd be all over the phone, and I would just get like a million WhatsApp, and he'd be giving me grief. But anyways, listen, guys, we are going now from YouTube and Facebook to Twitch. We're going to do our Friday night DJ sessions. Guys, please come and join us. I will quickly put it in the banner here so you guys can see. It's actually piss easy to get there. It's literally Twitch TV, and there we go. SA Bros, and I'm putting it on the screen for you now, and save and play. Please catch us there, www.twitch.tv/SA_bros. So we're going to be there. Yeah.
Before we even leave, I think as SA Bros, we want to say thank you to every single artist that we've had an interview with. We've been blessed to have like the cream of the crop, and tonight's no exception. Last night was no exception. And thank you, Ross, for giving us your time. I hope you have an awesome time. May lockdown finish quickly, and may we get to hear some more of South Africa's favorite band, Prime Circle.
Yeah, definitely. So, guys, we're going to catch you on Twitch for some jams. So please come and join us there. We will see you next week, Monday. Check out Facebook for the lineup. We've got Louise Carver. We've got Conrad Koch, Mel Miller, Darren Mould. The list goes on and on and on. It's going to be brilliant. Guys, we'll catch you at Twitch. See you in a mo.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. And you are live. Remove.